Yo, 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 what's going down? It's me, it's your man, Johnny Main. With my brother from another mother, Nick Wilcox. Here tonight, the Fantasy Football Show. Special start time for us here at 6:37.
Just in time for those Senior Bird specials, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just here to hook you guys up, man, with a little prequel for some waiver wires and to get in a Monday night prop or two. And then we'll talk about Monday Night Miracles. I shouldn't say we all need them. Some of us need them. Some of us need people to get points. Some of us need people not to get points. But all that, here we are, man. Adam and Cashin, baby. This is the new segment. We'll be coming to y'all every single Monday, bringing the heat like we always do. So what up, bro? What's going on, man? How was your Monday today?
Couldn't wait to get on because honestly, like work was just work on a Monday. Literally, you already know, coming back into it after a high of Sunday football games, and all of a sudden you come back to the desk. You're like, oh, I come back to this. So, but I'm feeling great now. We on live, and can't wait to break it down. Let's get to it.
Oh, wait, before we even get going.
Yeah, before we get going.
Before
we get the takes going.
Yeah, before we get the takes, this just came across. You probably haven't seen it yet, obviously, but Brock Purdy has a left shoulder and toe injury that make him uncertain for Sunday's game in New Orleans. Kyle Shanahan said the team will see how the practice week goes if Purdy cannot play. 49ers backup Mac Jones would be in line to start. And
Mac Jones.
I'm glad I'm kind of like a teacher's pet and did an extra assignment today without even having this information. So one of the things I will absolutely put out there is that, again, as the teacher's pet doing some homework today, don't have it right in front of me, but one of the things I actually had was Brock Purdy. I was like, is Seattle's defense this good or San Francisco's offensive line this bad? He was, I believe he was actually the most pressured quarterback in week one, thanks to the Seattle Seahawks. So what just a nightmare. We were all worried about Christian McCaffrey. That was the concern. We were all hesitant, and unbeknownst to us, it now is Brock Purdy's status is up in the air. Jawan Jennings' status is up in the air. George Kittle is definitely not playing next week. And all that is left is Ricky Shampoo Pearl from Boys in the Hood and Christian McCaffrey, of course.
Yep. George Kittle expected to miss a few weeks, according to some reports. It's so it's initial. Again, it's just to miss some time, whatever that means to one of the Niners beat reporters. So, a few weeks, pretty much the indication. So, wheels up for Ricky Pearsall, baby. And C-Mac for sure. The problem, is if Brock Purdy can't go for week 2,
I don't even think that's a problem for Ricky Pearsall, bro. Like Ricky Pearsall, Mac Jones was able to support Mac Jones last year. What I'm talking about, BTJ, Mac Jones and BTJ last year. So like, what else, man? Like, let's go. Go freaking
nuts. So the Niners, man, already getting banged up already, which is like their MO all of a sudden now. They're getting banged up.
Yeah.
They're getting banged up.
No, I'm going to keep the other comment to myself because I'm already.
I think you should.
Yeah, I probably should.
If you ain't done so already, if you ain't done so already, what are you doing? Follow us on X. Follow us on the Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Tags are below. If you ain't liked or subscribed to the channel, please do so. That's basically a way of saying wipe your feet at the front door before coming into the show. Like, subscribe to the channel. It's that simple, people. But yeah, look, the Niners already banged up, and it's Ricky Pearsall is already starting to work out already. It's already week 1, man. It's only week 1 already, but no way you can say either.
No, like that, dude. Like you're saying that. Actually, this was the thing. So Brock Purdy pressured on 60% of dropbacks yesterday. Wild. And you were just kind of talking about that. It made me just kind of go sidebar, but man, one of my homies, he's a big sports bettor. We'll just leave it at that. He sent me a couple screenshots. His birthday was today. Screenshot. Yeah, he's a big bettor. European basketball, golf, you name it. He won a couple stacks, so shout out to him, man. He cooked on Sunday, man. He sent me a screenshot. I was like, all right. I was like, I rock with that, man. So yeah, I'm all over the place, man. You can tell I had the day off,
You can tell I had the day off.
Yeah, I got extra energy today.
All right. I mean, that's always great. For sure. But yeah, look, we got waiver wire week 2, folks. You know what I'm saying? We got, your Adam and Cashams for the week. We're gonna break that down. We're gonna break down obviously Monday Night Football real quick before we get out of here as well. Some props I'll have for you. But without further ado, yeah, let's get down to it. Starting with the quarterbacks, we overall are gonna, depending on how things are gonna shape out in terms of some of these quarterback waiver wires. Who would you say is the priority here? We have a couple of names here, but who's the priority? Who should we start with? Who's the priority?
I have his name first, and I'm pretty sure he's probably taken in most leagues. But if he's not taken in your league, then Jordan Love's the guy, bro. He's the guy. He has already, he came out. I mean, he finished the week as QB 15, right? Which I'm cool with, man. But he just looked good. I think we both can agree, man. We both have a flag to plant in that Green Bay offense, man. I know your guy, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden's a guy I like, and I think we're both on Tucker Kraft. Yep. And then Romeo Dobbs as well. So a lot of really good pieces out there for sure. So I say that if he's still available in your league, I think that's the guy you have to go get.
Available in 29% of sleeper leagues.
All right, so if he's out there, go get him. Go get him. It's just that simple. They play the Commanders on Thursday Night Football as well. So it's a quick turnaround, right? But also too, I think we know the Commanders can be a little bit soft. But they just looked really good yesterday, man, against the Detroit Lions. Probably the biggest shock of the week for me was him. Well, I shouldn't say it was him, but was the Green Bay Packers just going out there absolutely thumping up on them. Yeah, I think that he's the guy, man. Again, got a nice matchup in the week 2, and I think that's one of the things you always got to look for everybody is, when you're working the waiver wire, sometimes obviously you want to react and get a player that had a good week. For sure, but you also have to think about what does the next week look like for him, and that game right there could definitely end up being a shootout. Jordan Love, he looked smooth, everything looked on time. He looked like himself back in week 1 last year when we seen him. So I'm really, really excited for him and the Green Bay Packers offense as they absolutely just impose their will all day long on the Detroit Lions. And really, he did all this, man. He had only 23 dropbacks yesterday, so it wasn't a lot of passing, right? Game script didn't really need that, as opposed to some of the other quarterbacks who had bigger days on Sunday and Sunday night. This was a very efficient, and to quote Lonzo from Training Day, surgical with this bitch, Jake.
Oh my goodness, yo.
Yeah,
I can't with you, yo.
Yeah. He was on it, bro. He was on it, man. He was on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, somehow Jordan Love is still out there. That should be someone that should already, be, on your rosters in general. But yeah, if he's somewhat still out there, make sure you pick him up. I think the next guy, it's easy to talk about. You call him the Vanilla Vic, Daniel Jones. He's someone that, can we expect this type of performance from him week in, week out?
I don't know about week in and week out. I think this week is going to be a real test for him because he has the Denver Broncos up next week, and they absolutely smothered Cam Ward. From a fantasy side of things, from a real side of things, I think there's a lot of things to be excited about for the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward. But from a fantasy perspective, they smothered him for sure. The Denver Broncos defense did, and the Denver Broncos defense is one of the best defenses in the league. And I think we all know what happened.
Well, breaking news. Breaking news. Ian Rappaport's saying that Kittle can miss 3 to 5 weeks with his hamstring.
No shock. No shock at all. No
Nope.
shock at all. That's the going.
Wait to hear the official news on it, but
that's the going rate for a hamstring. So no shock there.
4 to 6 weeks usually. So but
yeah. But Daniel Jones, like the Denver Broncos, like that's going to be a tough matchup for sure. I think he's worth adding though, for sure, especially if you already have a quarterback. I mean, obviously now I'm in a situation where my quarterbacks in my home league are Brock Purdy and Justin Fields. So now I am going to need another quarterback because anytime you have a mobile quarterback, I feel like you always need a backup quarterback. So Daniel Jones is absolutely somebody that'll be on my radar. But again, man, like that, everything was just how we drew it up, man, for week 1, right? Everything was just how we drew it up. Daniel Jones, QB3, 272 yards on 33 dropbacks, 2 rushing touchdowns, which I think like that was obviously like the big piece to put him over. Those very easily could have been Jonathan Taylor's touchdowns. So I think again, Jonathan Taylor owners, we're just sitting there looking like, all right, everything. Life is still good, man. Life is still good. So
you should feel good. You should anyone that has Taylor right now should be feeling very good. Because coming into the seat, before stars were announced, you're like, ooh, is Anthony Richardson going to start? Because if he is, like, that wouldn't necessarily take away from Taylor's ceiling, but you got to feel good about Daniel Jones having to start and him actually looking that good, because that does help the offense. That does help Taylor for not having so many stack boxes and being able to maneuver with that offensive line. So, yeah. Want to talk about your guy next?
Why not? Why not talk about Aaron Rodgers? I told you exactly what was going to happen on Sunday, that the Steelers were going to go out there and win on the arm of Aaron Rodgers. I told you how it was going to be. You can look at your watch all you want to, man, because it is that time. I don't blame you. I'd look at it too. He still got it, man. Like, he still got it. And again, that's right. Turn the lights out on him. He still got it. And I think, too, like with what they have next week, I think that's – who they got next week? I just seen who they had. Oh, the Seahawks. That's a really good situation, I think, for the Steelers to be going against the Seahawks next week. Aaron Rodgers just found a way to get everybody involved. Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Calvin Austin, who's somebody we will talk about a little bit later on as a spoiler. And then obviously DK Metcalf. That's a revenge narrative. So I think have him on your early DFS radars. DK Metcalf. But yeah, man, like this again, exactly how we drew it up, man. Aaron Rodgers, QB7, 4 touchdowns, 244 yards on 34 dropbacks. He was surgical again, man. Like he was that guy. And I think like you can see one of the things that kind of sticks out to me, just obviously as a Steeler fan, is the run game was pretty much non-existent for me yesterday. There was a lot of pieces that didn't look great. So if that's the case, then it's going to be on Aaron Rodgers to move this offense, right? So I think it's a really solid play. I think we know, man, he's in his 40s, so he's not going to give you anything in the rushing aspect. So really, he's a good stopgap. He's a great super flex option. If you have Brock Purdy and Aaron Rodgers is out there, that's a great pivot as well. So Aaron Rodgers, like if he's out there and you're in the need of quarterback, super flex or Brock Purdy owner, go ahead and go for it. Hell, even a CJ Stroud owner, man. Good gracious of life, bro. So I'm all in on Aaron Rodgers, bro, for sure.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because you know what? He still got it, man. It's just
he's still a bum.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hey,
he's still a bum. It's all good.
He kicked Joe Lewis's ass.
Can't wait for the end of the year.
You already waiting to the. Why you waiting to the end of the year?
That's all right. No,
why you waiting to the end of the year? Why? So y'all can do what y'all always do, and then just throw.
I gotta ask you a personal question for your Pittsburgh Steelers or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Give me a realistic point of view of where you're gonna go this year with him.
Same place we always go. We're always in the playoffs. So why would I not expect at least a playoff win this year?
Okay.
So whether it's wild card to divisional or divisional to conference championship, I don't think that's unreasonable by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, that's okay. Good. I knew I was talking to someone that of a Steelers fan that was equal and fair. So
yeah, like they're like I will never like. Of course, like from a fan perspective, I will always say like, yeah, like they're the best team. They're the best team. But like realistically, like even after what happened with the Ravens last night, like the Ravens are a hell of a football team. I said it Sunday night. Like that's a really, really good football team. And like, it's division rivalry, so they'll match up with them well and stuff like that. But like I'm like there's a lot of other really good football teams in the NFL. And I think like injuries will obviously play a part in it. But the Steelers, like, they'll be there, man. Like they are every year.
I agree with that. The guy I want to talk about that's available in 20% of 20% of leagues right now. Sorry, he's only owned and about that. I gotta double check that for the moment because I thought that okay. Nope, he is available a little bit more. Michael Penix Jr., folks, Falcons. He's only available in 35% of. Correction. He is available.
Damn, boy, what kind of math you doing? What kind of math you doing?
65% is sleeper. I didn't want to say the round number.
I was about to say, what kind of math they do in Connecticut?
Boy. Don't you start. But 65% of sleeper leagues he's available in right now. Michael Penix Jr. And look, he's someone that could easily be, your week-to-week starter the rest of the way. What encourages me about Michael Penix is that, when he won't have much of the rushing upside, so to speak. But again, the schedule is so much more easier versus some of the other teams in the same division. He had 6 carries, 21 yards this past week, 298 yards, a touchdown through the air. Now, Drake London should be day-to-day with that shoulder. So if something changes about that, that'd be interesting to see how, Penix maneuvers out of that. But I think he has to be owned in more leagues. It's criminal right now how much availability he has available in sleeper leagues in general. So I do like Michael Penix as definitely your QB2 as your backup, with someone that could potentially, really push this offense forward because they did all this, this 298 yards, like pretty much 100 of those was from Bajan. So it's like if he did almost 300 yards with just, basically Bajan and a little bit of sprinkle of London, stuff like that, like Kyle Pitts, like no one's talking about him enough, right? So I think that this offense in general is a good one. And it's very, I don't want to say similar to the Jets, but it's more like your running back, your receiver, a tight end. And that's pretty much it. Like maybe a secondary option week in, week out, whatever. But I do like Penix as your backup QB stash on the bench.
Yeah, one of the things and I like Michael Penix. I think I probably liked him a little bit more. I'd probably say I probably liked him a little bit more than you did, probably. Not by a landslide or anything, but I can't get out of my head what I seen him do in college. And I just thought that was really I can't. I'm just like, yo, like that this is, and plus like he was actually committed to UT. Shout out UT. We'll be talking about them more later on here in the show. But he was actually committed to UT at one point.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was committed there. But yeah, I think like one of the other things too, like with Michael Penix, and just like his situation was, he made my list of top 5 quarterbacks who was pressured the most yesterday, and that's kind of scary when you make that list against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, defense that's not known for playing defense. So I think it'll be interesting to see, and maybe like a lot of the other game scripts, to your point, will put him in situations where the game script will have him throwing the football. I think clearly like he has the weapons when all you have to do is check it down to Bajan for 5 yards. And the next thing you know, you look at your stat box and it's 75 yards worth of passing. And then like, man, he played hard yesterday, man. Like, the plays there at the end zone where he was stretching out, a lot of respect for him, like in that space, man. So I'm cool with that. And then he had 18 scramble yards. Again, like not very mobile for sure. So I think like when coverage dictates and turns their back on him, if and when that happens, that's a thing. But another reason why, to the point you mentioned with this team, they were one of, I think there were 3 teams yesterday that ran more than or 70 plays or more, and the Falcons ran 70 plays yesterday. So I think like for as much good as there is for Michael Penix, I think there's as much bad for him or as much opportunity. But from a fantasy perspective, if you're looking for a fill-in or a super flex option, which he's probably rostered in most super flex leagues anyway. But if you're looking for a filler, that could be a very good situation. And then again, one of the other things to think about as well is just the division, right? Like the division, obviously they're going to play Tampa Bay again. We've seen the stinker that Carolina put out there, and then the Saints as well. So I think it's I think there's a few games for him out there inside the division where he could definitely do some damage. So I rock with it.
Okay, yeah. Next guy. Geno Smith. The Raiders getting that win. Bring the Patriots down to earth. You and me both can agree on that.
Yeah, definitely. We both can agree on that right there. Geno, again, man, like he's a pro. He's seen it all. He's been around the block. I'm not shocked with what he did. I am a little bit shocked at the outcome because I was expecting the Patriots to put up a better fight than they put up against those guys.
Definitely. I was a little surprised by that.
I'm definitely surprised for sure. But common theme for week one was the star rookie running backs not named Omarion Hampton and Ashton Genty. Only were getting like 30% of like time played out there on the field. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. And I think like honestly, from a pure passing perspective, other than Josh Allen, Geno Smith was probably the best passer on the slate or in week one so far. Both of my guys are out there tonight, so we'll see what happens. But he did a really good job, man, yesterday, man. He was throwing the deep ball as well. He hit Dante Thornton. He hit Trey Tucker. He had Trey Tucker, and then obviously
they built a nice rapport.
Yeah, like he's got like the secondary options for the Raiders are really nice, man. They're really nice, and I think again back to my point a little bit earlier as far as when you get these guys or like they have like splash games, you got to look at who they got next, and these guys they have the Chargers next, which actually is great for us because sidebar, there's 2 Monday Night Football games next week, man. So I'm pretty
next week. I don't understand why it's not week one. They've always. I don't know.
Got to get that YouTube money, man. Got to get that YouTube money. You know what I mean? Got to get that YouTube money. Hey, it's all
you said it. You said it.
That's it. They got to get the YouTube money, man. That's why. But like I think we'll find out a lot. We'll find out a lot about the Raiders offense as a whole. As far as are they for real or are they not? Because I do think that the Chargers are for real. I said I can't remember what space I was on, but I was somewhere on somebody's pod and they were asking about the Chargers and Chiefs. And again, it was like, man, they'd all been 1-score games. So to see the Chiefs do that, the Chargers do that, I wasn't surprised. But Geno Smith, 362 yards on 39 dropbacks. I thought that was a really good game for him for sure. And actually he had a lot of time to pass, in the upper echelon of time to pass. So the Raiders did a good job as far as protecting him as well. He did get sacked 4 times though. So shout out New England's defense on that right there. So I think this is more of a longer term play. If you grab Geno up or, hey, like a bye week kind of deal. But yeah, like not a bad performance in Foxborough for Geno Smith yesterday.
Not at all. And like you said, just a veteran, pro, seen it all. Definitely, Geno Smith's always one of those better real life players than for fantasy. But he's someone you could definitely stash if you're like looking for QB depth later. He's definitely someone you can have. All right, we got the running backs, and Dylan Sampson. What? Yeah. Shout out UT. Dylan Sampson. For again, one of the guys we've called throughout the whole offseason. Why aren't people getting behind this? We didn't know. We didn't care. It was just like when we were like, oh yeah, why are people not drafting Henry and Barkley enough last year? And now, obviously, with Henry doing his thing this past year, oh Lord.
Wow.
But
don't get me going.
He did his thing with his, overall. But What I'll say about Dylan Sampson, like, look, Dylan Sampson, his usage. Sorry, the breakdown of usage for the running backs from Cleveland week 1. Jerome Ford, 52% of the snaps, 6 carries, ran 24 routes, and only had 1 target. Dylan Sampson, 45% of the snaps, 12 carries, ran 16 routes, had eight targets, and he had 17.3 fantasy points. Obviously, depending on if you're playing half point, full point, PPR, whatever. And obviously, Judkins is looming, but he's someone that, again, like, we'll see whatever. Regardless, Dylan Sampson's going to have a role in his offense. So if you don't have him, he's available about 50% of the sleeper leagues. So if he's on your waiver wire, stash him up.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. I think you could probably go back to any of our shows and the time Dylan Sampson gets brought up. I just go on a rant and a tangent about it. So I will say even more, and I will say that, as I even made the joke yesterday, that feels dirty leaving every draft almost with 2 Browns. And the 2 Browns that I left with, Dylan Sampson, Cedric Tillman. If I didn't leave with both of them, I left with one of them. Guaranteed every time. But yeah, no, the one thing, like, I will say, right, is like the 45% playing time share, like, yeah, like that is what it is, right? He's gonna have a role, and I think, like, he showed that in the receiving game, like, that's where it's gonna be at. And the Cleveland Browns, I will just put everybody on a spoiler alert. They probably will be playing from behind quite a bit. Just
quite a bit.
They probably will be playing. They probably will be playing from behind quite a bit. So I would say, oh my man, here we go. Yeah, no, here he goes. Yeah, man. Burns in my he's in my auction league. So I expect to see you here, Burn. Plus, man, we did a little middle school football coaching together, man. Vanilla Dr. Pepper out here, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, it was Vanilla Dr. Pepper, man, because I this is a sidebar here. I'm gonna go on a quick rant, but I know you're gonna find
doing a lot of those tonight.
I'm full of it, bro. I'm full of it. I can't imagine that you believe that, like, I would be somebody that is just like doesn't want to, like, let go of things at all. Like, I want to do it all. So Bernie, he did get my respect enough to let go of things, and he was our offensive coordinator, and he was very, very patient, and it helped us out a lot offensively and defensively. It was still did my thing there, but I gave it over to him on offense, and was just kind of like, hey, like, the moment, like, we need to throw a little Dr. Pepper in here, man, and, like, give it a little flavor, like, just give me that. But Burn, that's my guy, man. Back to the question though. Does Jerome Ford have a role week 4? I don't think Jerome Ford is gonna have a role, man, because one of the things, honestly, is that, and again, new season, right? But if you go back and look, like, at last year, all the things that happened after the Nick Chubb injury and everything, like, Jerome Ford never had a 100-yard game. I think he had 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
He was very close. Like, he was very close to having those. He had multiple games last year. He had over 100 yards from scrimmage, but not a game where he had over 100 yards rushing.
Right, but it goes back to the same thing, right? Like, the Browns are going to be playing from behind quite a bit, and, like, this was just the only option that they had. And, like, I just think right now, like, Dylan Sampson, he's a better running back. And then we seen what the hell was his name? We talked about him last night. Rocket Sanders is what they were calling him.
Raheem Saunders, yeah.
Yeah, he was in the mix. So I think, like, by the time week 4 hits, man, I think Jerome Ford is going to be dust, bro. Like, I really do. I mean, because some other quick call outs, man, just about Dylan Sampson, just overall, man, 17% target share in the passing game. And then guess who was number 1 at the running back position for week 1 for missed tackles forced? You guessed it, Dylan Sampson. So man, like, I just think, like, and like, again, man, like, I don't want to start doing victory laps and stuff, man, because it is week 1 and it was against a defense that everybody and their mama, they're easy. The Bengals defense is easy. So I think like, hey man, like let's see what happens this week, man. They play the Baltimore Ravens. I'll be curious to see what that looks like for him this week. And if he puts up another one this week, then I think like he's going to be in the mix and he's a very viable flex option. But running back 9 for week 1, no, I did not start him in a lot of leagues. No. Because I don't think anybody.
He was like our 5th running back, so
yeah,
it's
he's
one of those in case for later. Like you know what I'm saying,
for sure. So yeah, that's my spiel there, Bernie. I hope that helped, bro.
For sure. Dylan Sampson was definitely a guy, and then we got our be patient / in case they were dropped. They're dropped this week. I got several guys that we should be highlighting in terms of the running back. So. Your guy, Kenny Gainwell, I think right now, because the game's about to start, if you want to see if you can still stash him, go ahead, Kyle Manungai, because he's going to be the potential second RB tonight for Monday Night Football. So I would say if you want to go out and drop somebody you are going to drop, go add, Manungai now, just in case, because you never know. You'd rather beat the waiver wire right now. You know what I'm saying? Something happens to Swift tonight, or one guy gets some more usage than we think was going to happen. Never know. Go grab him. I don't care if he's a 7th round guy. Who cares? Go grab him. And then Brashard Smith, obviously the Chiefs. But you want to talk about Kenny Gainwell real quick?
Yeah, just real quick. 51% of snaps played. I think that was the biggest call out for me. I think we know what Kenny Gainwell is. I think we know how he's going to be used, right? But the Steelers' run game was really non-existent. But still though, right? We know what it is. Right, he brings a nice element to the passing game for sure. And that looks like they're not afraid to give him the ball. Although he did fumble one time in the game and they were actually able to recover it. So that's something just to keep an eye on. But right, if you're looking for a running back, right, you have any type of injuries or any type of open space, right? Any of the injuries that happened here in week 1 and something pops up. I mean, why would you not want a guy that had a 51% snap share? With an offense that scored over 30 points. Right. Just, so just something to think about.
Totally. And then 2 more guys before I move on and answer Ethan's question, because he's been waiting patiently. We got Woody Marks and also Jane Blue. I believe in Woody Marks could be a lot more available at the current moment in time. Rashard Smith, same thing. And then Jane Blue, I just love the talent of Jaden Blue. I know Javonte Williams had 2 touchdowns, blah, blah, blah. I need to see that a few more times. Not 2 touchdowns, obviously, but I need to see it a few more times for Javonte to get really behind and really be all right, well, if something he'll become a guy where if something happens to him type of thing. But Javonte, I still think there's room for, Jaden Blue to potentially get out there. And if he's dropped in some of your, waiver wire, add or drops this week, I would open up a stash spot for sure. Same thing with Woody Marks. We saw how Houston's offensive line was this past week. We saw it, bro. We saw it,
bro. I think I'm about to get ready to get off that Woody Marks train, brother. I think I'm about to get ready to get off.
I don't think so. It's too early. But just seeing the offensive line, I feel makes it more the case of all right, he's going to be the scat back, type of situation. If anything were to happen to Nico or whatever, it's where do they then go?
Yeah,
because all right, shoot, this is what we're gonna do. So, we got a couple questions we're gonna get to. I know, people in Rips community, we appreciate y'all coming out tonight. If you guys could like the video, subscribe. We're doing a decent job. Greatly appreciate it. But Ethan's asking about what do we think about the tight ends between Juwan Johnson and Brenton Strange going forward. I wrote about both of these guys this past week in my Fantrax article for the sleepers and streams. Did I expect Juwan Johnson to be the tight end 1 this past week? No. I did say, however, that the trend was that Kellen Moore loves to churn plays, and the fast pace does develop for somewhere to happen to Olave. He left the game a little bit because of a potential concussion that potentially happened to him. It's again, these things we have to watch out for. So Juwan Johnson for me is the guy I would say I'm going to prioritize a little bit more this week because I love Brenton Strange too. I think he had a solid game. I think unfortunately that rain delay kind of really mess things up from a flow of things. So I would like both of them in terms of if you're looking for a tight end because if you're missing Kittle or you're worrying about Brock Bowers again or whatever. Like Brock Bowers should be fine, but I'm just saying in general. But Juwan Johnson was a guy that the athletic build has been there. Remember, he was a former wide receiver turned tight end. So now you got to look at that and be like, all right, well, he has these measurables. He's a big-bodied athletic tight end, 28. He just got the contract extension over the offseason. So everything's fitting to that narrative. And again, like the Saints offense, like I said, you want to target offenses that's going to be in pace, even if they're bad, because that's just going to lead to more volume. So with Juwan Johnson, I'm not terribly shocked that he had this type of line. Will it be something I'm expecting moving forward? Not really, but I'm expecting for, at least for Juwan Johnson, he has an opportunity to, his line, we talked about it yesterday afternoon, like Juwan Johnson, we cashed 26.5 receiving yards. That was a gimme. That was definitely a gimme for betting. So I think when it comes to Juwan Johnson, I just think the Saints are, again, an offense that it's not sexy to target, but it's an offense where we're churning out usage and we're turning out, plays constantly. That's what we want to look for fantasy football purposes. So that's what I got on that.
Yeah, no, I'll just follow up with a couple things, right? Like Juwan Jennings is the guy, as far as this goes, playing time, almost played 99% of the plays yesterday. So that's one thing you want to look for sure. And then as a tight end, he almost had a 90% as far as route participation. And it falls right into a very similar category with the Cleveland Browns. You don't expect them to be winning a lot of football games. And then the old adage, right? What is a quarterback's best friend? The tight end. He's 28 years old, like we talked about. One of the things, Andrew Cooper always talks about is the age range of tight ends and when is that blow up expected? It's typically around the age of 27. So he has a lot more things going for him than he doesn't. 24% target share. Everything for Juwan Jennings yesterday from all of those advanced analytics almost doubled Brenton Strange. I think that kind of nails it down for me when I look at it in that respect to see some of the advanced analytics and to see how it shakes. So yeah. Juwan Jennings. Juwan Johnson. What's wrong with me, Juwan Johnson?
I wasn't. No. I was going to correct you, but at the same time,
I was waiting for you to say Jennings, and I was the one that said Jennings. I know. He's going to come around. Oh, Jesus, what's wrong with me?
But Steph is asking. Appreciate you coming on, Steph. Do you prefer Juwan Jennings or Harold Fannin? And half-point PPR. She has Ingram. And how much of the $100 would you spend? So she has a $100 budget for the waiver wire. When it comes to these questions, yeah, we appreciate you, Ethan. Again, thanks again. Ask another question if you want. We out here for you. And when it comes to this question, when it comes to Fab, right? I love Fab leagues, by the way. Fab is awesome. Fab adds an extra wrinkle, added strategic to your leagues. So first of all, ask yourself if you're in this league, you're around other people, you may know them. If you don't know them, you may know them, whatever. Because sometimes it may take the whole budget to get a player that is off the. Hear me out. And sometimes take your entire budget sometimes to get the player you absolutely want. Most times, though, it's usually not that case. But I will say this: if I was going to divvy this up. And this half point, so we do want, catches still are decent, but touchdowns are king. It's going to be an interesting situation with, Fanning. I do like Fanning. I liked him when he come out the process. Just wasn't in love with him because of David Njoku, and I thought he was very solid. And once Flacco was announced the starter, I was like, oh, okay, this should be Njoku's job in general. But nope. Harold Fanning came out and was like, no, I'm a baller. So what I would spend on this, I would spend no more than $15. I spend no more than $15 on Fannin. And with Juwan Johnson, you should probably get him for cheaper. I don't think most people in leagues are going to catch on to Juwan Jennings in terms of how much money they should spend. So I would probably spend no more than 10 on Juwan.
So you would spend more on Fannin than you would Juwan?
The reason being because similar to Tyler Warren in usage, like the way they used him in the slot, the way they used him out, they even used Fanning as a run. He had a rushing attempt. Like this could be a situation where I think him and Njoku, because look, like I'm not in love with the Cleveland receivers, like that. I know Tillman's more your guy and everything, but Jerry Jeudy, it's like he's just a route runner. Jerry Jeudy's just a route runner. He's not great. In terms of again usage goes, like with Fannin, you want to spend a good amount of your budget on at least one of these guys to land one of them. So I would spend a little bit more for Fanning than I would Juwan, but at the same time, give me Juwan because he's the tight end one for his team. So
yeah, that's my thing is like there's nobody ahead of Juwan Jennings. Like there's no competition for him, and like that reflects in like him like in his snap count. And I think Fannin, he definitely like athletically, like he's definitely a freak for sure. And I think if there's one thing, the one thing like I'll say is this right here. I'm just taking away is, so you mean to tell me you wasn't ready to stand on business with no Cleveland Browns, man? I was out here standing on business all off season with Cleveland Browns. They just happened to be from UT, but yeah, that's what I hear, man. I heard you stirred up, man. But no, I like Harold Fannin though. Like I think it was definitely cool to see him, right? Yeah, like Juwan would be the guy for me, man. Like that would be the guy for me. And because I mean, who knows, man? Maybe Njoku.
It depends because people could think about this the other way around. Maybe I'm wrong when it comes to they may think Juwan Johnson is going to be more of the alpha. They'll probably spend more money for him to outbid him, and the Fanning may go under the radar. That's why it's like if you know a history of your fab in terms of your league mates or what you can somewhat expect, that'd be better for these situations. But at the same time, it's like I agree with you also when it comes to Juwan, because you can grab Juwan for whatever and you got him as tight end one. I'm just thinking if people are thinking or getting the hype about Fanning, you want to have that younger probably guy on your roster because you never know. They could trade Wade and Njoku, whatever. Cleveland could blow this whole thing up like they did with Amari Cooper last year.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is Juwan Johnson, like Juwan Jennings, man, this guy is killing me tonight. Fannin, like he could end up being the guy if Njoku does get traded, but if he doesn't get traded, right? And I think if you're the Browns after seeing the performance from yesterday, granted, again, it's against the Bengals. Like
I know
you're a little bit optimistic about things. Like you're a little bit optimistic about things for sure. And Joe Flacco, like he has given the teams that he's played for here in the last couple of years, he has given them a fighting chance every single week. So I mean, you can make the same argument, right, with the pass catchers for New Orleans with Kamara, Olave, Shaheed. You can make the same case, right? But I just think like at the end of the day, like the tiebreaker for me is who's the guy that's on the field more than the other guy, and who's the guy that's getting the route participation, and that is Mr. Johnson.
Nice. Your guy Sam asked, as you talk about the fab, do you see spending most of the fab in the first third of the season as players show themselves early, or do you save it for later where you can outbid others in the playoff push? I do think there's a balance to this type of stuff, because you don't know. It's like if you're in an auction in general, right? You don't know when that last item's going to go, right? So you don't know if you're in an auction, you don't know when that last thing is going to come up, that last item, or either the item that people are the shiny toy, whatever is going to come up first or whatever. You're like, oh, I got to get that. That's mine. I think when it comes to this type of stuff, it depends on what your roster is at that moment in time. And if that, if you in your gut, and is that the player that you think is going to be like a league-winning player. Similar to Bucky Irving last year, where it was like, if you had Bucky on waivers after the first couple of weeks, like that week before he started eating more into the Rashad White usage, he probably went for, people like a quarter, maybe even more of people's budgets. So it's a very precarious situation. I do think if you're going to spend most of your fab on something, it will be for a running back, because everything else in some way or shape or form is somewhat replaceable outside the running back position. People could tell you spend this much on your budget or spend this much amount or whatever, but you honestly have to take into account, again, like I said about the previous question, you have to understand where your league might be at. Like, your league may tend to not spend money until it's the last minute. Your league might blow their whole budget on one player. So you'll have to dive a little bit more into how the trends for your league goes in a way, and just kind of try to find that out as well. Also, I know people trade fab dollars. So that's also something that where, they gather them up like it's, like it's about to be winter. So it just depends on your league. For just to answer the question, in general, I like to spend my fab in a way that, so I can try to find a player that, like, on a running back, take a few stabs at a running back where, all right, like, I think this guy could definitely be, the guy where we talk about later in the year, we could use as, like, league winning versus, like, I just don't use my fab all year. And it's like the more weeks go by, when you have more fab in a way, the less value it has. So,
see,
in a way.
So this is where we're gonna be different. This is where we're gonna be different. Because, like, for me, like, when I look at fab, like, I always think, like, one thing, like, of week one. Like, I think great example, like Isaiah Likely last year. I can't remember. There was another guy for the Cowboys a handful of years ago that, like, balled out. Like, I always think that, like, week one is very reactionary when it comes to, like, free agents and things like that, right? Unless, like, to the point like we're talking about, unless there's guys like Jawan Johnson that has had, like, a history and a profile of, especially, like, at a position like tight end, right? Like, I think, like, that's a little bit different, but, like, even still, like, I'm not going to spend all my money, like, in that space, because I do truly believe, and I said this last year thousands of times, you just got to be patient. Like, you just gotta be patient. And there's some instances, right, where like the Kittle situation, right? Like, are we going to go right to the tight end that's going to be on the field for the 49ers for next week and spend, $20 on that out of a $100 budget? No, probably not going to happen. A guy like Cedric Tillman, like, if he's out there, maybe not $20 of your budget, but, like, hey, 17 to 18, that's another thing. Like, I'll tell people as far as fab dollars go, use an odd number of dollars. Use an odd number of dollars, because a lot of people are very, like, will go like, oh, well, I'll spend $20, right? Well, if you think somebody is going to spend 20 and you really need this player, then 21 is to go, or 23, right? And I'm not suggesting that needs to be the move, but, like, just be different enough to get your guy. But, like, as the season progresses, I think, like, you definitely want more money if you're in a fab budget, because if you're in a fab league as far as free agents goes, like, that player that you're going to need him probably because someone got injured. Someone got injured. Burn, I would love to do this in our league. I would love to do it. Like, I would absolutely love to. Throw it up there, man. On the message board, man. I'd love to, honestly.
It's not too late.
Yeah, it is, actually. No, I ain't doing all this. No, I ain't. I don't play those games. I don't. Hey, kickoff happens. The league, the rules is the rules. The leagues is the league. But yeah, man, like, I would much rather have $80 or $95, say week 8, say week 7, right? I would much rather. My counter to that
is that when that you can have all that money at the end of the, towards the end of the year, but it's like you don't even get the player that ended up popping off at the end of the year.
But
no one knows when that's going to happen. Obviously,
right. No, that's fair. But to say that, right? Like, you are going to need that player more in week 7, week 8, week 9 when you're actually trying to get to the playoffs. Like, week 1 right now, like, there's probably not going to be very many people that lose their league because of the first week of the season. Maybe you come short one game.
It's not. Yeah, it's not full. That's not.
No, it's not. But, like,
right now,
no, but, like,
no one worthy of that just yet.
No, but that's my point. That's exactly my point.
What I'm saying, my point is that you have to I would say there's a window of time where, because I don't think that it's one of those things you got to try to be ahead of the curve of. If you're not ahead of the curve on a player or two you think that can do it, and that's just taking a shot. Sometimes that's, again, there's no like real like legitimacy in a way in terms of how you be able to depict which player is going to actually be league winning, so to speak. Like for example, in like next 4 or 5 weeks, like I'm looking to try to find that, that player that can definitely do it for you in terms of like, all right, like we'll need this guy either for a bye week fill in, or like I think this guy can literally go off the top. So to
that, but like to everything you're saying, like why would you put yourself in a situation where this is a thing and say, and I'm just being overkill, say for week 5, if you can already see now that like, hey, like it's an opportunity for you to go out and throw $2 or $3 at this guy that nobody is thinking about in week 2 or week 3 versus having to pay, $22 or $23 for a guy that like, you're like, okay, like I want to wait. Like if you're going to do it, like, then do it. Like do it for $2 or $3, right? Like all these guys that we're talking about like tonight, like for the most part, like these are the guys that are going to be like the number one waiver wire priorities, number one waiver wire targets, where like, to your point, like, hey, like secondarily, all right, like let's be thinking about like secondary options, like we've been talking about tonight, like the quarterbacks that like, hey, you're going to pick up and you're going to play. Who are they playing in week 2? Like not what they did in week 1, but who are they playing in week 2? And are they going to be a play for you in week 2? Or are you looking at the schedule to be like, all right, like this looks kind of nice for the next 3 or 4 weeks? So I think like, and obviously like you can go from it.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah. Any way. That's just my preference.
Literally. Because you just got some people in some leagues that will blow certain fab on, like a play, again, just for example purposes, like if Rashard Smith becomes more of a thing when it comes to a usage perspective and stuff like that, then it's like, if you didn't stash him, if you aren't listening to us, right? We tell you guys which the players to stash. That's a guy where it's like you could end up spending more fab on. If he becomes more of a thing in the Kansas City Chiefs offense, because there is a take in which that can definitely happen because of all these injuries that's happening with them. So, or if they don't trade for somebody. So, again, this fab thing is always precarious, but it's always strategic because it depends on the league you're in. Because there's some people that will just blow them out of their budget on X, Y, or Z player. Maybe not knowing what they have, and then all of a sudden they have that player, and then you're like, "Dang!"
Listen, like, I want those people.
FOMO feeling in some ways.
No, I like those. I swear to God, those are the people I want. Like because those are the people that I want. Because again, like when it's week 11 and it's week 12, and then you got Bomageddon going on, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, my bad, you ain't got a tight end. Oh, now if you really want to get strategic, right, and really go play some games, man. Now, if you have enough roster space, now you can go pick up 2, maybe 3 tight ends, put them back out there to keep them on waivers to clear 1 or 2 days, right? That's what I said. Like,
of course,
I'm patient with it, baby. I'm patient with it.
We're gonna get dirty with that, yeah.
You were talking trades already. Trade fab. Look at this guy.
Oh well, I mean, people do it all the time.
I know.
But going back to so we're going on wide receivers now.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about another Steeler at the moment. We're going to talk about Hollywood Brown.
Sure, let's do it. Let's talk about him. I'm ready to talk about them all. Let's do it.
No, yeah, totally. So I would say Hollywood Brown, like he was someone that I got in a few best ball like situations, and then I drafted him in some leagues that I was like, my receiver room wasn't as like shored up. But I was like, Hollywood Brown as a wide receiver 5 sounds wonderful because he's like 2 years removed from the Cardinals doing something decent with them. Obviously, it's the injuries and stuff like that that's banged him up the last couple seasons. But he was someone that I was like, let me see if I could just put him on my bench and see what happens. But in terms of Hollywood, no, I didn't start him because no one thought that we were going to see this many injuries week 1. First of all,
bring back preseason football, damn
it. That's your point. Bring back season.
Bring back preseason football, damn it.
Bring back that extra week. We need it. But yeah, I mean, look, the Rashee Rice injury and then Xavier Worthy injury now. So it's, Hollywood Brown seems really, really nice. He's about 50% owned right now. But I will say that he's someone that you're hoping that not even really hoping, even if the Chiefs do trade for somebody, Hollywood Brown should still find himself in a position to succeed. He's someone that if you have Rice on your roster and you're missing a wide receiver 3 right now, or if you're playing in a league with 3 receivers, I think Hollywood Brown could easily be your wide receiver 3, consistently moving forward. I think the other guy in the same vein, I don't want to bring him up, but it makes sense to bring him up. Juju Smith-Schuster. He doesn't have much left, but it's like if it's gonna be where the Chiefs only have Tyquan Thornton to really stretch the field down deep with, as that burner type of receiver, then they're gonna be Mahomes is gonna be becoming once again check down Charlie. So it's gonna be Kelsey, it's gonna be Juju Smith, it's gonna be Hollywood Brown. So I did think in the same vein that Juju Smith-Schuster can, if you're in a deeper league, Juju Smith-Schuster, like your Scott Fish Bowl leagues, whatever, like someone like that could easily be someone you should scoop up, just to overall see things. But Hollywood Brown's done a nice showing, over 10 catches, 99 yards. So solid performance.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that alone, a couple things, like I'll say before I get ready to go on my rant, is he will now be playing the well, no, it's not a bad thing. He's essentially was playing the Xavier Worthy role in the offense, right? So that's just really what that was. Pretty sure he had 13 quick targets as far as the Chargers game, but overall a 41% target share. And then he was top 12 in playing time percentage, obviously because the injury. So I think we can expect that. 97% route participation. So he is the guy. There is no doubt. And the Chiefs were again one of 3 or 4 teams to only run 70 something plays, 70 plus plays in week 1. And granted, that's because of the script. They got the Eagles this week, so I think things will probably look a little bit different. Again, to kind of the point we've been talking about is who do they play next? Who do they play next? And that's going to be a tougher matchup for sure. But I mean, hey, man, this is just like we drew it up. Hollywood Brown right now before Monday Night Football kicks off, your wide receiver 9 in PPR overall so far, just exactly the way we drew it up, right? But yeah,
not wide receiver 9.
no, maybe 99 or 39, but
hey.
he's the guy. He's the guy until Xavier Worthy gets back. That's what it is, right? So I think if he's out there, and you have a Jawan Jennings, then you can go out there and you can make that move, or even if you have a Xavier Worthy, right? You can go make that move. So did not have Hollywood Brown in the deck of cards for week 1.
Not for week 1. No. Maybe in general, but not in week 1.
Yeah. No.
Not in week 1. We have a trade question. Tarno, Tar. I can't even say it.
I'm just gonna call him TS. Terror Squad, baby, let's do it.
Conflicted on getting, I'm guessing that's Jonathan Taylor and Pearsall giving up Monty and BTJ. My other receivers are Jennings, Travis Hunter, Hollywood. Running backs is Benson, Genty, and Brian Robinson. I'm assuming it's Brian Robinson, not Bajan Robinson. 14-team league,
I would say Brian Robinson would probably be my guess. And I'm assuming this is a PPR league as well, but I'm already leaning into the on this, getting JT and getting Ricky Pearsall versus giving up Montgomery and Brian BTJ.
It's a smash for me. It's a smash for me, and the reason why is because you're getting Monty's your guy. That Detroit offense.
No. He's not my guy. I said that I would take him over Joe Mixon, is what I said.
Oh.
Yeah, he ain't my guy.
Excuse
me.
Yeah.
Don't you pin that on me, man. Don't you pin that on me.
Jeez, don't commit black on black crime, man. Jeez.
Good Lord. God.
All right. But I would take this trade because obviously the Detroit offense, they're not giving me good vibes after watching week one.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not. We talked about this yesterday. They're not giving us great vibes whatsoever. And it's really weird. Like, it's really weird. But I would take this trade because Taylor just seems like there'll be better days for Jonathan Taylor in this offense for Indy. Pearsall, like, he already has, the insider, stuff, I'm saying, from NBA's term. He already has the inside track to potentially taking over this offense already. And I know he has Juwan Jennings, but that's nice. You could have both of those guys on your roster, you know what I'm saying, and then either make another trade or whatever. But I do think you make this trade because BTJ, right? Brian Thomas, he's someone that I was very conflicted about drafting during draft season. Reason being is because we talked about this yesterday also. It's like Brian Thomas was having more success with Max Jones than he was with Trevor Lawrence. And then, Travis Hunter was involved and stuff like that. So, again, since you have Travis Hunter, I feel good about you keeping Travis Hunter and trading away BTJ while grabbing a guy in Taylor who has top 5 upside at running back and grabbing Pearsall who could easily be a guy pushing for high-end wide receiver 2 numbers every week moving forward. And you got Taylor and Genty now with this trade. So yeah, I mean, look, you're losing BTJ. So that's the big thing. But I think with Pearsall, Travis Hunter, and Hollywood as starters for upcoming week 2, it's not a terrible thing for a 14 team league.
Yeah, no, I just like honestly the thing that tips me over the edge for everybody is Jonathan Taylor. That's what tips me over the edge in this trade right here. Like, he's the best player, in my opinion, in this trade. And I think, like we know, right, like if you have a stud running back, that obviously puts you in a really good situation. And then I think the other part of this too, we didn't really even highlight, is like having Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter on your roster. Like, you got to come off of one of those guys, man. Like, for sure. Like, that's not an offense that I feel good about having 2 of those players on the same, like, on my roster. So, yeah, one of those guys, like, oh, see, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I told you I'll be in my bag sometime, though, because TS works. My dude, that's what I'm talking about. But, yeah, like, I think that's just another thing, man, for me, is just, like, getting off those 2 Jaguars and then bringing in Monty. I think that does it for me, man.
Yeah, totally. So we're in agreement. Go do that trade now. Want to talk about Kayshon Boutte?
Booty, rocking everywhere. Yeah, I do want to talk about him, actually, man. Our guy. Oh, actually, it's not. I was about to say George, who's been. Like, ain't that your name in the chat? It's George. No,
George talking about us right now.
I was like, okay, like maybe that's what I thought. But no, like Kayshon Boutte, man. He had a game. I would say be mindful because it is the Dolphins. And like I said yesterday, I do think the Dolphins are going to be anointed as the defense that you chase from a DFS side of things and from a real world perspective as well. Over 100 yards yesterday on 8 targets, 6 receptions, had a 17% air yard target piece. So he was a guy that is a big play for the New England Patriots. And before we even came on tonight, I was telling Nick, he's like, oh, is that what you want to just talk about? Is just you want to talk about Patriots? I don't. And as I said how bad the Dolphins are. Oh, guess who the Patriots play week 2? The Dolphins. So, like, as we've been talking about the entire show, it's like, hey, like, is the player that I'm picking up, are they in a situation where I can start them? And I will give this bit of advice, and it's always difficult for me as well in a lot of spaces, is especially when you picking up players that are like have done something. If you feel good about the matchup in week 2 or the week after you pick them up, play them. Like, play them. play them, because I can't tell you how many times I've picked up a player and I'm like, oh yeah, I got him, and then there's 32 points on my bench. Like,
Yikes.
again, here's
Yikes.
Deshaun is a great fill-in for Jawan Jennings. He's a great fill-in for potentially if Drake London can't go this week. He's a good fill-in all the way across the board. So I do like him. I do like him this week. Probably is making me sick, but in my early processes, I'm already looking at the New England Patriots from a DFS side of the world, and it makes me want to vomit. I'm back.
Totally back, bro. Totally back. But as far as man, Ute, man, I just feel like he's one of those players that just like is gonna give us one of those. Yeah, he had a great week, and then all of a sudden it comes back to earth. So he could be a guy that does it probably again this season at some point. I just feel he's going to be one of those players that's like, he's going to have great week one, and he's going to suck the next 3 weeks. And he's going to do it again, and all of a sudden we're just chasing that next bigger performance. And I'm like, I'm all set. I got to see it again from a consistency point of view. I still think that there's going to be better days for Stephon Diggs. It's going to be better days for DeMar.
Absolutely.
It's going to be better days for Hunter Henry. So I'm not exactly sold on him, but at the same time, I can understand why people might just want to stash him on their bench this week. And then, like you said, play him this week because Miami, they've been bleeding points already. So it's a murder scene already defensively.
It ain't gonna get no better, brother.
Even with your former guy, Minkah Fitzpatrick back there, huh?
I love Minkah. I had my cat in my house is named Minkah. But Minkah, Jalen Ramsey, the play that he made Sunday. I'm already like, listen, give me the jersey for Christmas. Let's do it. You see 5 hanging up behind me, man. That was for LT in college, but man, we'll flip it over, man. We'll do a little Jalen Ramsey, but yeah.
Word. Calvin Austin. So when he was one of those, one of your last round guy players for best ball. Because if it was not Metcalf, it had to be somebody else. And this is 3rd year for Calvin Austin, right?
3rd or 4th, because I feel like he was injured 1 year. So I think this might be 4th for him. I don't know. I know you're probably looking it up now, but yeah, like if you want to talk about him, like the thing I'll say about Calvin Austin is right out of the gate, 81% of the plays he was on the field, target share of almost 20%. Wide receiver 16. They play the Seahawks next week, and you've seen what JSN was able to do. And again, like I said, 1 or 2 things are going to happen in the Seahawks matchup against the Steelers. Either DK Metcalf is getting ready to go absolutely nuclear, or either he's getting ready to be Calvin Austin putting up another performance like he did. Guarantee you that Calvin Austin is on your waiver wire, because only thick Pittsburgh Steelers fans are the only people that would roster him, or people who you've annoyed so bad that they just want to do it just to mess with you. So I can almost promise
oh my gosh, yo,
Calvin Austin is there. And I think like one of the things with Aaron Rodgers, right, that they want to do, obviously they want to get the ball out of his hands quick. And the run game, I don't want to go all Pittsburgh Steelers in this situation, but there were some times on Sunday where Arthur Smith got very, very creative with what he was doing as far as the formations, the schemes, some of the motions that he had. And I've said it all off season long, and I said it all last off season. Give me Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, not Arthur Smith, the head coach. And oh, by the way, I happen to tune into the Atlanta Falcons game, and the game is on the line. And who's in the game? Tyler Algier. Oh my God. And you mean to tell me? So, like, anyways, Calvin Austin, like, nice flex play, especially if you're in a 12, 14-team league, which he's probably scooped up in most 14-team leagues. But if he's out there, again, he's a nice fill-in option for you for sure.
Definitely agreed. Last receiver, Cedric Tillman. Cedric, he's someone that, with Jerry Jeudy, it's like, he just, again, the whole thing people were coming into the year with Jerry Jeudy was like he ran the most routes and stuff like that last year on all receivers, and I'm like, that's only because the Browns had to keep throwing the football. Doesn't mean that he's a great receiver. He just got there based on volume. Too early to take a victory lap on that. But in terms of, Tillman in general, you've been on Tillman, of course, before. Yeah. He's definitely your guy. But I will say that with Cleveland's offense, with Flacco there, it's I feel a bit more confident with some of these other Browns starters. We've already talked about that with Sampson and stuff. But yeah, look, with Tillman, he really got more of his opportunity after Cooper left last year. And I think that in the same vein, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown week 1. You got to feel like Tillman can be the wide receiver 1 for this team at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to make a youth movement, which it seems like all indications are the week one. So I'll try not to I'll try not to but I think the difference with Tillman though, versus a lot of these guys on the Browns is that he already was doing this last year.
Wait a minute. We got breaking news, folks.
News. Is it breaking, or is it breaking?
It's really breaking news, by the way.
Are you gonna say it or what?
No, I'm gonna type it out and I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Bro, why the hell would you even why would you do that? Just type it in the chat then.
It's Tank Bigsby to the Eagles. Being traded to the Eagles. That is so trash, by the way. It's terrible.
All of that for Tank Bigsby to go to the
Tank Bigsby to the Eagles. Breaking news.
Oh, bro, let me stop everything I'm doing for Tank Bigsby going to the Eagles and his 90 carries that he's gonna get and just break everything here. Oh my God.
Well, I have him in a couple leagues, so he's gonna be easy.
That's why it was breaking news, is because you haven't been leagues. No. There's no fantasy impact on this right here. What is this doing for anybody?
Well, yes, it does.
What is it doing?
That means Travis Etienne really is potentially really the guy. There's no real what?
Okay.
I can't with you sometimes.
Okay.
I can't with you sometimes for real. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, that's
cool.
This is a thing we were seeing all summer though, in terms of camp battle and stuff like that. So now it's a bit more official. You don't agree? Jeez.
I have the only I have Tootin in maybe 1 or 2 leagues is a last round dart throw. That's it. But yeah, I mean it doesn't change anything for Tank Bigsby. I mean, not for Tank Bigsby, but for Travis Etienne for what happened yesterday, because he did what he did. So if you have Travis Etienne, then this is oh, all right, cool. I just continue to keep rolling. For Tank Bigsby owners, this now kind of sucks for you. So
yep,
I'm sorry.
In some ways.
Sorry.
I had a couple of leagues myself, just with the Tootin thing. It's I had a couple of leagues, but it wasn't anything crazy. You're getting them a little bit more in best ball, but oh well, it is what it is. But it's really interesting. I just find it more interesting than anything else that Philadelphia is trading for Bigsby. Because I'm just trying to read in between that in terms of
Jordan,
why they give up a 5th and 6th round pick for him now?
But Shipley, it's obviously got to be something more severe than what people initially thought. And
for
AJ
Shipley,
Dillon, yeah, and
AJ Dillon, yeah, he's
but
your bags, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it does the same thing, man. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't give him a role because Saquon's already that guy. But yeah, no, Cedric Tillman, something that's more relevant. Cedric Tillman is more relevant than Tank Bigsby out here. What are we doing? Yeah, no, he's the Browns, they're going on a youth movement. If that's what they're doing, then Cedric Tillman is going to be somebody that's going to be included in that piece for sure. I don't, again, tried to like verbalize it to everybody about Tillman, about what it was who he was and what he did last season. Still getting targets in the red zone, getting targets in the end zone. He had one of each yesterday, so obviously they're looking for him in the places that it matters. So like that's obviously like what put him over the hump. I was there right there, but like again, man, like a guy you were able to get in double-digit rounds that will give you solid production. I think like out of all the names that we've listed up here, I think there's been like a caveat with like a lot of the rest of them. It's like, all right, well, can they do it again, or this, that, and a third. Cedric Tillman, I don't think there's a lot of questions about like, can he do it again, or like, oh, this is a one-off. Like, I think this is what it is, man. So like, if he's out there, go get him. If you can lowball it, actually it makes me laugh because actually I had a dynasty trade. Yeah, you're like, oh my God, you made a trade.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's true. I made a trade. Yeah. This dynasty team, I hate trading. I'll tell anybody that. I hate
you
trading.
hate it.
I hate it so bad. Yeah, I hate it so bad.
It gives you headaches.
It does. I can't stand it. If you really want to get on my nerves in the league, send me trades. If you really want to get on my nerves, because I'm just like, I'm such a egomaniac, I guess. And I'm like, no, man, like I drafted my team exactly the way I wanted it. I don't want your shit.
So like an old person just saying that, just
guaranteed, bro. Guaranteed. Actually, I got Cedric Tillman as a throw-in on this trade, man. It was actually during the rookie draft. We swapped picks, and I got RJ Harvey. I had already drafted Caleb Johnson, shocker, and I swapped picks with this guy because I had like 4 second-round picks, and so like I sent him a second, and then like I moved up in the first to get RJ Harvey, and he was like, something. I was like, man, just throw in Cedric Tillman. And he's like, I don't really want to. I was like, bro, like he plays for the Browns. Like I'm just a big UT fan. Just send him on over. Sent him over. So, but yeah, Cedric Tillman. Yeah, like he's gonna be in your spot.
He sucks.
He sucks. That's right. He sucks. He plays for the Browns.
In a few years.
Yeah, listen. I didn't even say. I just said listen, man. If you just tell people, he sucks. He plays for the Browns. Like that's it. Like that's it. He plays for the Browns. Like it used to be like the running joke with the Bengals. It's like
that's true.
Who wants anybody from the Bengals? They suck.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. Anyway, Cedric Tillman. Get him in your lineup or pay for him, one or the other.
Tight ends we go. Oh, before we move on to tight ends, just a couple of stash alert guys for receiver. Burden, same thing. If he's out there in your leagues, stash him because he might be a thing at some point down the stretch for Chicago. You never know. Never know how it's going to shake out.
We'll see.
And then Troy Franklin, because of we don't know what's going on with Evan Ingram. And the Franklin situation, I just want to keep notes on the situation.
Oh, that's fair. I like that.
With Troy Franklin, like he was someone I did like coming out, the year prior. And then he landed with his college quarterback at Bo Nix. So I think that I'm not saying that this could really be a thing. But he's someone that doesn't hurt for your deeper leagues, like your 14-man, 16-man teams, like Troy Franklin right now, like it could be one of those, be patient with him type of thing. And see what happens. But tight ends, Harold Fannin, talked about him a little bit already. But just the way he was utilized, like, was really something that, this could be like I don't want to say it could be a Tyler Warren thing, but this could totally be a Tyler Warren thing. In terms of like usage and how they overall, like you said, the youth movement, I think is definitely on in Cleveland. I just think that down the stretch, they'll have to figure out if, because Flacco's not the future, obviously, at quarterback. No. So they have to figure out if these, if it's Sanders, or if it's Gabriel. So, with that being said, I mean, Fanning reminds me already of Isaiah Likely, in some ways, so it's one of those things where Fanning led the nation in receiving. So it's something that didn't get, it was one of those things because he played for a small school. So you're like, man, is that going to hold up? Yeah, is that going to hold up actually in the league type of thing? Whatever. That talent is going to be, transition over. And that was one of the things that kind of held people back in terms of draft process in general and overall just, our fantasy leagues as well. But if you're in Dynasty, you're definitely taking some victory laps. For Dynasty, you're already taking
I got him on another team, man. I got him on another one.
Definitely aware you're taking some victory laps on it already. But in terms of just like usage, like he was just again utilized in the slot consistently over and over as as that big slot guy. He was utilized as a regular tight end, move tight end. He was, he had a rushing attempt. He was all over the formation. And the fact that we already saw that all in week 1. I mean, granted, take it with a grain of salt, but granted, if you're in a situation that, calls to pick him up, do so because he's widely available.
Yeah.
He's widely available, folks.
Yes, sir.
And if you're in one of these grandma leagues that don't pay attention to waiver wire like that, they're like, oh, I'm all set with my team. Then maybe give them for free.
You don't even have to bid for it. I say I don't like to trade.
Oh no, not that. I'm just saying in general when people they oh yeah, this. Like, oh yeah, he played for Cleveland, right? Sucks, right?
That's right. That's right.
So he's someone that again, again, from a talent perspective, the talent's definitely there. It's just more about where he get more of the line shot opportunities in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, won't spend a lot of time on it, but I'll just keep saying this throughout the process. Who are they playing next week? The Baltimore Ravens. What did Dalton Kincaid do? So I think again, it's one of those situations where it might look scary on paper. But sometimes you just got to stand on business with the Cleveland Browns.
I agree. Brendan Strange, Jaguars. Talked about him in the Fantrax article that I read every week for tight ends. Dropping tomorrow for sleepers and streamers. But what I'll say about Brendan Strange is that he's in a good situation. Brendan Strange has been a tight end 10 or better from last year when he started games. He was a tight end, I think it was a tight end 15 or tight end 17 this past week. So it wasn't like a strong game. But again, I think I'm taking that with a grain of salt for some, in a way, because he 4 catches, 59 yards, tight end 17. And yeah, I'm taking it with a grain of salt because that rain delay, man, just sometimes it really just takes the air, the wind out of your sails, man, for real. That whole stoppage. But again, I think Strange is a good situation to at least be the third option in the passing game and has the ability to get a touchdown every week. Could give you some solid floor numbers every week. Grab him because he'll probably be out of the next tight end we talk about, Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson is probably 1 or 2 in your waiver claims this week if you need a tight end, especially you're without Kittle now for a few weeks. You're going to be scrambling now for sure. But I would say, Brendan Strange is someone you can definitely scoop up.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not a big Strange guy.
That's fine.
Yeah, he's actually on one of my dynasty rosters actually. So I'm playing him there. Yeah, don't really have a lot to say about him, good, bad, or indifferent. 82% playing time. He had about a 60% route share as far as running routes. So that's not bad for a tight end. So I think obviously he's somebody you can plug in and you can play. You may be able to get some production from him as far as the dreaded 4 for 40, which actually he did catch all of his targets on Sunday for whatever that's worth. So yeah. And then obviously we talked about Juwan Johnson, not really a whole lot to say left about him. So yeah, man, I don't really have a lot to say about those two guys.
That's
fair. At least for one of them that I've already said. The other one,
yeah. We talked about Juwan Johnson, the tight end one this past week. But again, with Juwan Johnson, he's someone that again I think you can get on the waiver wire, even though he is a tight end one because still plays for an awful team in the Saints. But again, the gem I'm dropping consistently is that again. Look for the pace. And look for the number of plays that Kellen Moore is going to be consistently churning with this offense throughout the year. So he's definitely someone that he's definitely a steal, especially if you need to start someone next week. Because guess who the Saints play?
Tell me.
The Niners. I thought you knew. But they played tonight.
No, No, I'm all, like you, the tight end guy, man. So I can kind of.
I guess.
No, man. Like there's no guess. You listen between the two of us. You the tight end guy. I'm just gonna say if I like him or not, man. And I already, I've already said, I've already stood on it with you want.
It is official. Yeah. But okay. And but yeah, look, I mean, we gotta monitor if you have Evan Ingram like someone had earlier, you gotta monitor that situation too. But I will say, yeah, if you're looking for a tight end, these are one of the three. The next guy I'm probably gonna look to stash in my deeper leagues, Mason Taylor, the New York Jets. Speaking of bad teams, look, like Mason Taylor, I think has talent. Obviously, didn't have the greatest week one, but I will say that the talent is there. Everything I'm seeing in terms of his field awareness and already getting on the field and they're utilizing him. It's the reason why they drafted him. The reason why that Tyler Conklin, who had always been steady Eddie for us as a Jet, makes some sense. But Mason Taylor is someone that I do think that the snap percentage and the usage should start moving up and up week by week by week. And again, opportunity, because who else besides Garrett Wilson is going to be, consistently getting peppered with usage? We don't know yet. So that's where Mason Taylor, I think, could have an opportunity to shine in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I was trying to look for something positive to say about Mason Taylor. 4 catches, 20 yards. I mean, there's that. He did play. He was on the field a lot. Like,
I'm trying to find something positive.
I mean, like, he was on the field for a lot. Like, he was. He was on the field for a lot. So, yeah, I mean, like, but you're not wrong though. Like, somebody has to show up as another pass catcher for the Jets, other than Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So maybe it is him. And again, like, it's week 1, so I won't be like uber negative because again, like, a lot of these guys, like, they take time. Like, so we'll see with Mason Taylor. But as far as from a stash perspective, why not?
Yeah, and there's a tight end. So we got to talk about Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings going to Soldier Field for Chicago Bears action. The books have this as basically a pick 'em at the moment. The Vikings, they slight money line favorites. But yeah, heading into Chicago, and our guy, fifth quarter, what up? Appreciate you showing up. If you got a last minute question, feel free to ask it. We're gonna break down this Monday Night Football game. Over under right now is 43.5. That over underline, man. I don't know. Does that seem? I don't know. Does that seem a little low? I'm
not even gonna comment on it because, like,
we got burned last night, by the way.
1 p.m. games, baby. I was like, let's go. By the time Sunday Night Football was over with, I was like, damn, I feel like less of a man.
I mean, look, that game ended up being what? Good Lord, man. That game ended up being what? It was
41 to 40, I think.
81 points, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, good Lord. I think the 43.5 is the easy over. Pertaining to how we expect these coaching staffs to come out tonight. Because when it comes to Minnesota, when it comes to KOC,
my guy,
we know he's going to look to, game plan has always usually been to throw, drop back and throw the football. Will the game probably for the first half perspective be a little slow? Probably, because they probably want to look to see how the running game goes between Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. The Vikings are going to be without the left tackle. I forgot his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But come on, Nick. Come on. Derek Shaw. There we go. The left tackle for Derek Shaw, the Vikings, he's inactive tonight. So that could spoil some of the Vikings running plans early on potentially, to where I can kind of see them allow McCarthy to kind of break out a little bit. What are your thoughts on J.J. McCarthy in general? I just think that from him heading to his first official NFL game, right?
What
do you think?
I feel like he'll be fine, man. I feel like he'll be fine. I feel like
you are something else. You're really something else. You're really something else, yo. That's news for people, yo. Like, jeez. Wow.
Oh,
continue.
God. Oh man, I'm
jerk.
sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Jeez.
I know. I'm sorry. I just
terrible.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
I'm a horrible person. What can I say? I don't like Tank Bigsby.
Whatever. Continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. McCarthy. Yeah. I feel like he'll be fine, man. I think. Of course. I feel like Kevin O'Connell will have him ready to go. I think obviously it's going to be a situation where they're familiar. The familiarity that they have with each other from like the last year, I think will be really good. I think Kevin O'Connell obviously does a really great job at putting quarterbacks in situations to be successful, not asking him to do things that he wants to do, but asking the quarterbacks to do things that are that they're good at. And I think scheme wise, that's a big call. And then too, like as far as pass catchers, having Adam Thielen, your guy there, Jets, Hawk, Aaron Jones in the passing game, right? Like I feel like it's a really good situation for the Vikings and him. But I do think, and I will say this for sure, I do think the Bears, I think, and I said this last night, I'll say it again. I think we're really getting ready to find out about Ben Johnson for sure, because I really truly think that like this is going to be. It's going to be a fun game tonight, and I'm really looking forward to both of these quarterbacks. They're two quarterbacks that like I've rostered a lot in fantasy leagues. They're two quarterbacks that like I have a lot of like trust in and a lot of faith in for this upcoming season. Same thing with a couple of the wide receivers with DJ Moore and Justin Jefferson, two guys that are like two of my guys for sure, and one of my guys, Jordan Mason. And I didn't get a lot of Roma Dunze, and I'm already kind of feeling anxious about not getting a lot of him.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm feeling really anxious about not getting a lot of them. But I think it's just going to be a fun game, man. Like I really do. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a good game.
Okay. So you got Vikings, Bears. Straight pick them.
So I will go right off of what the decision I made on Sunday morning.
Well, sorry. Vikings became a -1.5 favorite between when I put this on and we're talking about now. But my Vikings -1.5.
I'm gonna take the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears. I just really feel like Caleb Williams. I think this is it.
Okay.
That's who I took. And that's one of my things. I'll be obviously sidebar as I'll be putting out, like my fantasy, how it went for me in my leagues, what my record was, what my records for picks was this season. It's one of the things I'm keeping track of. So I took Chicago on Sunday. So I'm sticking with it. I'm taking Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, give me Minnesota. I think as much as I like Caleb Williams as well, I do think we're missing the mark. I think with McCarthy just a little bit. Watched him at Michigan, looked at some tape with him several weeks back. Just looking at some of his Michigan tape and stuff like that randomly. And the best parts about his game really fits into this offense. Like he's you got to think also it's like, again, like we always talk about KLC fitting the mold for quarterbacks, no matter really who it is, from Nick Mullins
Josh Dobbs
to Josh Dobbs, like making anybody look good.
Yeah.
But I think with McCarthy, I think he still brings that in between, like he can still take off when needs to run as well. He can scramble a bit. And I think that's something that's worth noting in terms of how, they overall deploy this offense. So especially on the last tackle tonight, like, that's going to be rough business already. So I do think that McCarthy is going to be able to showcase that he can, lead his team to a week 1 victory. And I think Chicago will still probably look good tonight. They just probably won't win tonight. So yeah, I'm down 24 points. I have Jefferson and Van Ginkel. Wow. Is that like an IDP guy? Has to be Van Ginkel.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Am I cooked or not? No, actually, no.
This is great, actually, because this is like what we're going to talk about. Is like,
we were.
Yeah, like Monday Night Miracles.
Monday Night Miracles. Is he cooked? Is he cooked? I don't think so, right?
Well, I mean, I think there's two schools of thoughts here, right? Like if you think like right, like you were saying, like if you think the Vikings are going to win, they probably win because Justin Jefferson has a pretty solid game. But one of the trends that we did see from this week was, man, high-end wide receivers didn't do jack. So like maybe he ends up being like they didn't. Like CD Lamb did. He did. And Dak Prescott, by the way, was a bottom 5 fantasy quarterback, but that's another story for another time. So yeah, like if you think the Vikings are gonna win, man, like I think like there's definitely a space where that could happen, especially if it's PPR. So if he gets 80 yards and a touchdown, that's 14 plus, like let's call it on 7 or 8 catches. Might be all right, man. You ain't cooked, bro. You
Not at all.
you tenderize in season, man, but you can be saved.
Yo. Oh my gosh.
I watched Sinners today, by the way. I was like, damn. I was like, it's just crazy. You seen that?
Yeah.
I was like,
Sinners?
man.
Yeah. That's a dope movie.
It is. I was like,
crazy as hell.
I was like, it's crazy, but it's fire though. Yeah.
Oof. I hope it's not a Naylor night. Please. That's your boy Naylor, but man, don't let it be tonight, please.
Oh man, I know, right? I didn't even play. I didn't play any single game entries, man. I typically do, but I just didn't tonight. I said I'm gonna take the night off, and I'll be back on Thursday night.
Well, luckily for you, I'm in business tonight. Next prop shop went 2-2 over the weekend. The review goes as this: we had the Jawan Jennings, over 26.5 receiving yards. We won with the over 3.5 catches for Pearsall. We got hooked by Neighbors. He had 5 catches on 12 targets. Just couldn't get the 6-1. And Bryce Young, 154 yards passing. Again, I think it's that rain delay just did weird things where it just became more of a slothish type of game after the fact, though. But it is what it is. We move on to Monday Night Football once again. I got 2 for you tonight. First one, your guy, Caleb Williams, over 214 passing yards. I think Ben Johnson is going to have fun with Caleb Williams, I think, at this point. I know Minnesota's defense is pretty nice. Front seven's pretty nice, but there's no Harrison Smith tonight. So that could be something for the back end of sorts for Minnesota, where I think that Caleb Williams is going to be able to find DJ Moore, Dunze, crossing patterns over the middle, something to that manner. And, there's a lot of offensive weapons here in Chicago. So the 214 seems really, really low. I think this line should easily be 250 for Caleb Williams. So he should beat this line. The other prop bet I got for you tonight, TJ Hawkinson over 40 receiving yards. I think Hawkinson, there's no Addison, obviously. Naylor is playing. But, again, Jefferson is always a guy. And he's technically he's an unofficial, if you want to bet that. 80 yards receiving, unofficial. But with Hawkinson, he's going to find things over the middle. They're going to be leaning on him. He should be, the second guy targeted. And what we say all show, the best, quarterback's best friend is a tight end. Yep. So, Monday Night Miracle. Monday Night Miracle I need is for DJ Moore to come out and be DJ Moore. Score 2 touchdowns, score over, have over 100 receiving yards. And don't let Swift score a touchdown. What you got, Johnny?
My Monday Night Miracle is I need Caleb Williams, Justin Jefferson, and Colston Loveland to give me like 40 points in this guillotine league. Otherwise, I am out.
Toast.
Week 1. So yeah. So
I hope that doesn't happen for you. But
no.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know, right? No, everybody. Yeah. Oh my God, I won't even go there. It was like a 15 team league, so it was some crazy shit was happening.
Why bet?
Oh yeah, it was some crazy shit was happening.
I bet. Oh boy. But yeah, the next time you'll see us is not till Sunday morning. Unless you guys are, following us on Twitter, please do so. If you haven't done so already, please like the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Here every Sunday and Monday, twice on Sunday, they say, baby. But yeah, next time we'll see us Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Your DFS, your props, your bets, your starts, and sits. that's what we got. Any final thoughts, Johnny, before we get out of here?
Only 17 more regular season weeks to go, man. So enjoy it, take it all in, have fun, talk some trash, do all the things, man. But yeah, I'm just happy to be getting ready to watch two of my guys tonight playing Monday Night Football.
There it is. Yep. Sit back, relax, have a cold one. Enjoy the Monday night. And we'll see y'all on Sunday morning. Peace.